So we're on the last part here, part 12, WWE Championship, The Rock and John Cena. Once in a lifetime.
Twice in a lifetime.
On repeat.
Greatness versus redemption, except this time for the title.
Yeah.
Great
I'm not a
side
huge fan of this. I've ran it down.
Woohoo! I'm fucking just excited to see it again. Woohoo!
Yeah. I don't really care.
Whoa, what a way to play it safe, eh?
We know it was
you
coming.
have Rock, you have Brock, you got Taker. Fuck, let's waste Rock and Brock by throwing them in two matches they had that sold out pay-per-views last year. Putting them both in the same card. Oh, maybe it'll sell just that much bigger, except they don't know that rematches don't sell that much bigger. But then again, I'm not going to completely shit all over it.
I'm not looking forward to it.
I like their first match, and I'm apparently one of them, not in a minority, but in this Smack Talk group, like you and Burhan, I know you guys fucking hated it.
I was there and I thought it was shit. So
yeah, see, I'm a minority. I don't know how Mike Payton you thought it was, their first match against one another.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, like I really, really, really enjoyed it. And when I heard that everybody on Smack Talk pretty much hated it, I'm just like, wow, I actually liked it. I thought it was a good way to cap off the night. But most of you hated WrestleMania to begin with last year, and I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, see, I was very underwhelmed with it. I thought that these two could have had a better story. They could have. It didn't feel.
I think
it didn't feel like a WrestleMania huge. When people talked about Rock and Cena before, they talked about it the same as Austin Hogan, and it didn't match up anywhere near that to me. Maybe that's a problem of going into it with too high of expectations, and maybe I'll like this one better because I have such low expectations for it. But I don't know. I'm just.
On top of that,
I don't
it's gonna
really
be a
care.
different style of match. John's definitely going to be more aggressive.
Well, a problem that I have about this match is I don't care what the outcome is.
Well, we all know what it is. Fucking Cena's winning the title.
No matter what it is. I mean, I would be pissed if the Undertaker lost. I want to see a lot of these matches, like I had said before about the Fandango thing. I want to see Fandango not get squashed, and I want to have the tag titles mean something, and I want Cesaro to be in a title match and all that. But if The Rock wins, I was never one of the biggest Rock fans out there.
He's not going to win. I assure you that much.
No, I mean
I don't think it's that cut and dry.
See,
I think it is.
When it comes down to this kind of situation, though, you have The Rock and John Cena. You have two people that are supposed to be a polarizing situation. Obviously, it's not as polarizing as WWE would hope because nobody really cheers for John Cena the way that they want them to.
It's because of him. He's not a Rock, Austin, Hogan kind of guy. No matter how much they want him to be, he's not that level. He's John Cena. He's
going to get
John.
He's going to get booed, and so when it comes to that, do you either have the investment in I want The Rock to beat John Cena because I don't like John Cena and I like The Rock? Well, I don't really like The Rock. Like I'll never say that he's not one of the best superstars of all time. He definitely is, and I appreciate that he came back and wrestled a bunch of matches. And
to give back, and since he's a big name, he can draw, so he's helping them make money. Pretty much, and that's appreciate. I can appreciate that.
And I hate when people do their own fantasy cards and they go, well, I wouldn't even want The Rock on the card. But no, come on, you got to be a smart businessman. The Rock is getting.
If he's willing to do it, you should book him.
Right.
That's
so
plain and simple.
You give me The Rock and you say find a spot for him on the card, I'll definitely do it. I mean, it's just a smart thing to do. But as far as cheering for The Rock or anything like that, I don't really like The Rock. I mean, The Rock is one of the reasons why I stopped watching wrestling. Actually, it's because of The Rock and Austin were in every single segment and talked about constantly for the entirety of every episode of Raw for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it got to the point where I was just like, I'm fucking tired of this. And I stopped watching wrestling for 6 years. And I was a huge Austin fan. And it got to the point where I didn't care enough. And so I don't care about this either because we've been dealing with this storyline for 2 years.
2 years now.
And there's nothing different with it other than the title. I don't think that this whole respect thing is really that much different. It's just blander promos in my mind.
They got rid of the pettiness, which I thought they needed to do.
But
the pettiness is
I don't think upgraded it
on, in my opinion.
No, they put it on autopilot. It's because they don't care. Oh, we're big stars. The match will draw. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
But
You
they're
know, the
coasting.
title's on the line. That'll draw too.
There needs to be some sense of difference and some sense of
Yeah, they played
urgency
it safe,
in that.
plain and simple. They don't care how they book it
Yeah,
or
but
how they book
that's
the
the
build.
problem, though. If you have something like this, the only way to make it credible is one of these guys had to be heel. Rock doesn't want to do that because he's got a huge fan base. Cena doesn't want to turn heel because he sells T-shirts to little kids.
Right. And if they would have gone with a heel turn, it would have made me think so much more of this match. I didn't obviously expect that to happen at all. And I don't think John Cena's turning heel at the end of this match or anything like that. I think that this is a
It's
typical
business as
WWE.
usual. Cena's gonna win, do his fucking C Nation celebration with the title.
Right, and we
And
were
it's-
supposed to think that he was the underdog, and that's why they're doing this whole I have to win and all this, and
And then he comes out and does this big old celebration of I'm the what would he be?
I'm the
11-time WWE champion.
yeah, and
Beat
you know
The
what?
Rock.
And if the kids buy into it, and if that ends up getting them one hell of a buy rate, then
Then
okay. But at the
Cool.
same time, it's not going to make me get excited. And when it comes to Rock and Cena, I as really awful as this sounds, I wouldn't have cared if this would have been not for the title and it would have just been a rematch on the undercard. It's kind of similar to the Triple H and Brock Lesnar match. It's
It
a
is
match that
the
I'm supposed to care incredibly
opposite.
about,
It's
and I
the exact
really
same thing.
honestly don't. Like, I just
Because we seen it last year. It sold the pay-per-view it was supposed to sell. It did well. Triple H and Brock did the same thing for SummerSlam. They thought, oh, let's just take the same two big matches from last year and put them on one card and see how good of a buy rate we
But the problem
But
is that
matches don't sell as well as first-time matches. That's the problem.
the problem is the Rock's star power is what's overshadowing the pay-per-view itself. WrestleMania, I understand it's supposed to be a spectacle, so they can say, well, you've got this guy returning who is a former Attitude Era wrestler, so hopefully they'll get the Attitude Era guys in. He's also a world famous actor. He's done Hollywood.
Yes.
So
He's got a star power that eclipses everybody else that's on this card.
Yeah, and I totally understand from a booking sense why they would do that. Now,
If you're trying to make the most money, why wouldn't you put him with Brock? I mean, he's the second biggest draw they have.
There you go. You hit the nail on the head there.
Well, I guess they might be saving it for next year, but
I really fucking hope we don't get The Rock against Brock Lesnar like next year. I'm gonna piss all over that if that happens. That'll piss me off even more than this.
Or even having
why
against
you won't be there
Taker.
for it, or because it's two part-timers in main event.
They would put him with Cena. Two reasons. One is redemption on Cena's part.
Well, they have to have the golden boy get his win back, obviously.
Well, he's got to pull Triple H.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is because they feel that this main event is strong enough to draw the pay-per-view to bring people in and bring butts on the seat.
Yeah, it was last year, not so much anymore.
I know, hence the reason why they've basically booked the undercard the way they have. They just literally just doing everything else as throwaway and thought, okay.
Well, no, not really. This undercard's a hell of a lot stronger than last year's. I know you probably don't think it is, but it's a way better
It's not
undercard.
that. I don't say it's not as strong as last year's. What I'm saying is it's had little to no build, which is what the WWE
The whole show has had little to no build. Even the main event matches, nothing's had decent build. This is the least amount of hype and build to a Mania in years for everything. I mean, even including Rock and Cena. Nothing's been built good.
But that's where
Nothing.
someone like myself and Tony, I don't know how the rest of you feel, but why we sort of look at the pay-per-view and think, okay, it's been headlined by Cena and Cena. There's no stakes have been risen. Okay, it's for the title. And it's just been added in there. There's no stakes.
Right.
It doesn't look as big as it did last year. It just seems like, okay, they're doing it again when they said it was once in a lifetime. Okay, now
let's try and find a way to make it look like, they just happened to, end up
He
facing
happened
each
to
other
win the
again. Let's have
title.
Cena win the Royal Rumble and Rock win the title.
Rumble. Yeah, and it's just like, okay. And then both of these guys are sitting there trying to tout that they're the underdog. It doesn't work.
Well, the way that I could sum this up the most is one word: coasting.
Yeah.
And
the
the analogy that I can go along with it that sums up my feelings about it. We've all ridden a bike, right?
Yep.
Of course.
Now, I had a note about that should have transitioned into a whole bicycle thing, but damn it, Dace, you're not here. the when you're riding a bike and you coast, you don't have that wind rushing in your face and that real adrenaline rush. Now, when you're pedaling, you might be putting more work towards it, but you're you're getting faster. You're building up that adrenaline. You're pumping up that energy. They don't have that for this.
Clanging and
When
banging
you're
and
when
clanging
you're
and
coasting,
banging.
when you're coasting, you never get that bump of a higher rush. And when it comes to most of these matches with the rematches and all that kind of stuff, they're coasting. And that's why going into this, I'm excited. I'm incredibly excited, don't get me wrong, about going to WrestleMania. But I'm not incredibly excited about going to this WrestleMania. That's the thing. And I actually, if you were to tell me that that I could maybe have a card that we get later on in the year, and maybe replace that, put that on for the WrestleMania card and switch that over and watch those matches, I probably am going to find a card later on in the year that I think is going to be a much better pay-per-view. And when it comes to the end of the year awards, I highly doubt that I'm going to end up putting WrestleMania as the best. And that's including that uh,
You went there
that
live.
that live factor. And if that ends up not even being able to boost me up to where I really enjoyed this card, then it's a shame. And then it's not good enough for WrestleMania. But somebody brought up a good point. A fan of mine, I think it was, but somebody had mentioned it to me before. They said, what if this year is not only in the similar sense of coasting because of the fact that they think it'll do good enough and we don't need to worry, and if we do this for WrestleMania 31 it won't work, so let's take advantage while we can. But what if this is the down year because they really have bigger plans for WrestleMania 30? And
I
if
think
you have
that's
to take
exactly
a down
what
year,
it is.
you have to take a down year because of look at WrestleMania 10. 10 high up, well, higher up than WrestleMania 11, which was awful. WrestleMania 12, everybody
And
mostly
27, I'm saying this card's way better than 27's card. And that was nothing but a filler WrestleMania to build up for WrestleMania 28.
The thing is, let me ask you one little question, Tony. If you could get your tickets for Mania today, right, and the card's laid out as this is the card, and someone said, this is your card for Mania, would you still buy tickets to go and see Mania?
Yes, he would.
Yes, I would, and that's not because of the card at all. Yeah, it's the only reason I would get it is because of the same reason that I bought the tickets before the card was laid out, and that's because it's WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because it's close to you too, right?
Well, it's probably like a 3-hour drive or something like that.
Oh, really?
Close
That's
enough.
what the WWE probably oversaw. They probably stopped there and thought, well, it's going to be WrestleMania anyway. It doesn't matter how the card's laid out.
Right. That's what I feel. And
the name draws alone, basically, is their whole point.
The difference would have been if you told me that I was going to spend $200 on a pay-per-view without knowing ahead of time what it is, and you would have given me this card, and the pay-per-view would have been over the limit, then we're in a different situation. If you tell me over the limit, all right, well, let's put it this way. It was only $85 for a TNA pay-per-view. I forget which one it was that they had in Philly not that long ago, and I didn't go. And I didn't care what the card was. No matter what, I wasn't going to spend $85 to go to TNA.
I've gone for free every time I've ever gone. I would never pay to go to TNA.
Right. So, and if you would have told me that I had to spend $300, $400 to go to WrestleMania, I probably wouldn't have the ability to do it. If you would have told me that I would spend $30 to go to WrestleMania and I had a card filled with Heath Slater against Yoshitatsu and all this other kind of stuff, I probably would do it. That's kind of the situation what it is for me. I am not going because of John Cena and The Rock, because I knew that we were going to get that ahead of time. I bought my ticket because it's WrestleMania, not because of Rock and John Cena.
So what is the match that you're looking forward to the most out of this whole Mania?
I'll put it this way. The match I'm looking forward to the most is Undertaker and Punk. The reason I'm going to WrestleMania the most is the Undertaker's entrance.
Because you want to just be there when it's happening.
And
pretty
this is
much.
one of the last times that I'll ever get a chance to do it.
Well, there you go. And
That is sad, isn't
it's
it?
a shame. It is a shame. It's a shame that it seems like they're. And the thing is, you can understand it as well. But being a diehard wrestling fan, it's like I not only grew up watching the business, I've sort of been a part of the business myself. To watch things slip the way they have, it irritates me. I know I'm considered like a smart, or I consider that I see things.
Or an armchair booker, or whatever the fuck
Yeah,
they
an
want to say.
armchair booker. But you know, the business that I grew up around and the business that I've seen isn't the way it is at the moment, and you can see the way that business has changed, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that profits, ticket sales at the gate, pay-per-view buys, these are the things that they're looking at. They're not booking for sheer entertainment anymore. They're booking for what they feel is going to make the most money, and you can't hate them on that.
They have stockholders to answer to now.
Yeah, exactly, and it's you can't really hate them for that, and you can't say, oh, they're not looking after the fans. They can't cater to everybody, and the problem is the general consensus wants Cena versus The Rock. The general fan, not the wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm. Well, Peyton, what do you think about that? Are you in the same boat as me, where you would have gone no matter what?
Of course I would have.
I
And to be honest, even
would.
if I knew they had this card, I'd still go. I think this is an excellent, excellent card for the roster of people that they have. I don't know why you guys are so down about it. Let me tell you, I was not really all that sold on Rock Cena up until they had that video. And something about that video finally struck a chord with me with this.
You're talking about the Civil Twilight song promo where they...
Yes.
That kind of...
Well, that's because that song
they
was
made me
fucking
realize
awesome.
how much they really did put into this story, that they stretched this story slowly over a number of years. How long has it been since they've done something like that? And
it's been a long time.
The way that we saw this going on through the year with John Cena, how he really wasn't doing all that well, and we really could never explain why. And now it does really kind of make sense. He did go in a tailspin after that loss on The Rock. There is that story there, and if you can't be compelled by these stories that are there, then I can see why you don't care about it. But if you take a step back and just look at it as a fan of stories, there's a really awesome story going on there. And these are two of the biggest names of all time. Now, yes, we saw this match before. We just have to hope that they're going to take it in a different direction this time.
I always hold out hope that even if they had a match once, they can top it. That's why I'm not going to completely dismiss Triple H and Lesnar, especially with the stipulations given. That's why I'm not going to, be down on this title match. Yeah, I've seen it before, but that doesn't mean it can't be better.
Okay, can I just say, you guys said before that rematches never do better. Well, what about like Rock and Austin? I would say 17 whipped the shit out of 15.
I don't mean in terms of in-ring quality. I'm talking about drawing.
Yeah,
but
once again, 17 versus 15.
Too, because Rock was a way bigger star.
But again, Mike, you're looking at a different time period. In comparison to what's going on at the moment, 9 times out of 10, when you have the rematches, they tend to not do as well as the match prior. But saying that, you've got one of the biggest draws in the company, which is The Rock, facing the second biggest draw in the company, which is Cena. So, of course,
arguably the second biggest.
Well, it's a safe card. It's a safe card, which means that I can sit there and nitpick why I think that it's very stupid of them not to have, not to have Antonio Cesaro on the card, period. Or I think that it's very poor management of them to do certain little things here and there, like how do you not have somebody like The Miz and the Intercontinental Championship and all that? How do you not put more emphasis on that? We can talk about that.
The title wasn't on WrestleMania for like 7 years.
But I mean, like it's a situation where they should, as a company, do that. But when you look at the card, they're in the business to make money. It's obviously not going to be some WrestleMania that doesn't sell anything. And it's just, it's more so an underwhelming sigh of that they didn't.
Here's the thing, though. After the pay-per-view, you're not going to remember the build all that much. You're going to remember what happened the night of. And I think this has potential to be a great show by the time we all walk out the
Yes,
doors.
I agree too.
I hope
That
to
if
God.
everything pans out perfectly and the matches all deliver, this has potential to be a great pay-per-view.
I hope
And if
to
it's a
God that it
great
turns
pay-per-view,
out
even if
that
it's a
way.
good pay-per-view, I think it's worth the money.
And if it turns out that way, then you won't hear anything on the contrary for me. I mean, as I said before, if I go into something with low expectations and it comes out a lot higher than what I was expecting,
You give it all the praise ever, pretty much, right?
I would rather that happen than for me to sit here and go, "Oh, I told you it was all gonna suck" and all this other kind of crap.
But then
Because I'm
again,
going
even if you think something sucks, we could still think it's good.
right,
You know, because every opinion's going to be different.
and I spent my money for a ticket for two reasons. One, because I want to market Smark Out Moment as much as possible, which obviously you guys can look out for the sign and all that.
I'll
And
try on TV.
yeah, I'm sure it won't pop up. My seats can't be that great. But
You didn't get the LeBar VIP seat?
ridiculous. No, because I'm not gonna sit there and do the Brock Lesnar the pose and all that other garbage like he did. But you know, I bought the tickets for two reasons. I bought it because I wanted to market myself, and I bought it because I'm a wrestling fan, and I want to go into this as somebody who is a fan of it, who's wanted to go to WrestleMania their entire life, and finally has a chance to. So nothing would please me more than to walk out of this and be like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome. So I might be down on the card. I might think that it's going to turn out to be an I told you so situation for a lot of these things, but I certainly hope that I'm wrong. And you know, I'm going into it with low expectations, but I'm going into it with high hopes that I won't be leaving it disappointed. So
You know what this card needed? A Money in the Bank match.
Now they got a pay-per-view for that now, so
They do, but I always thought that was a bad idea. I mean, if they had a
Mhm.
Money in the Bank there, that would be a good place to have put Barrett, Miz, get Antonio on there, Kofi Kingston, and a number of other guys who are not getting a spot in this card.
They just needed a high octane match, as you said,
you
similar
don't
to
need
the
money in the bank for that. You could have done multi-man, you know,
coulda-
instead of
you coulda
tag
done even-
titles.
you could have
did
done even a
multi-man
scramble
tag.
match.
Man, that match that had Team Johnny versus Team Teddy was never as compelling as any of the Money in Bank matches.
Agreed.
No, I agree, totally agree.
No, but what if they would have had a scramble match for a unification of the U.S. and IC titles or something like that?
That
It would
could've
have
been
been
interesting.
fucking
Absolutely.
amazing. So, final predictions when it comes to Rock and Cena. I'm going
Cena's winning the title. Yeah, 100%.
Peyton.
I am not going to give my answer as usual, but I'm going to say I don't think the answer to this is so easy to determine. I think we should expect a surprise in this match. And I'm not saying it's a Cena heel turn, but I don't think it's going to be as predictable as everyone wants it to be. I think they got something up their sleeve.
Brian.
I paid on that one. Not as clear cut, so I'm gonna go with The Rock.
Jester.
Wow. I think John Cena wins, and I think the only thing that potentially saves this match is if he turns heel after the match. It probably won't happen, but that would save this WrestleMania for me,
I would
for sure.
love to see that.
That would be the greatest thing ever.
He wins.
But
The Rock goes for a handshake. He belts him in the fucking balls, and
I think
Pisses
Cena
on
winning is as much of a foregone conclusion as the Undertaker winning. Honestly, to me.
Yeah,
By the way,
to me
that
it
did
is too.
happen. That would justify a Rock versus Cena 3 for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
good God, no.
no.
Just
So that wraps us up for the WrestleMania talk. So that means time for plugs, and you know how this goes. The Sign Me Up initiative, you bring a Smark Out Moment sign to any kind of wrestling event, and send me a picture or video of it, and I'll put it up on the show and, you know, the website and everything like that. Watch out for the Smark Out Moment sign that's going to be at WrestleMania, because I'll be, you know, holding it up. So will my girlfriend and hopefully a whole bunch of other people, but I doubt it.
How big is it?
It's just a normal poster board.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you
wasn't.
needed all these people to hold it. I was like, wow.
That would have been fucking amazing. But that would have happened if I would have been able to get all of my friends that are going to sit in the same seat. But
Yeah, if you could get like one of those like Hulk Hogan cutouts like they had at WrestleMania 6, and just like of yourself.
Would it piss you off if they ended up basically confiscating it?
What, the Smark Out Moment sign?
Yeah.
I don't think that they will. But, if you see a tweet at Smark Out Moment thing and they think that that's bad, then all right, well, But I'm going to try to be doing my interviews. I'm going to be trying to talk to as many people as possible, make some friends in the crowd, and get their opinions on before and after the event and everything like that. Make sure you guys check out, as I've been saying before, Tout and Twitter and everything else. I'm going to have a lot of different ways that I'm going to be talking to you guys throughout this weekend. I'm going to send you guys a little tout from the hotel room the night before, and I'm going to try to be doing things at Access and all that. So, really pay attention to that. I'm trying to make it a real good experience for everybody that can't be there, and hopefully I'll be able to get Dace on that and everything.
I'll try and follow as much as possible. That sounds fun.
So that's it for me. Let's run through this real quick, Braden.
Oh, yeah, just subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/foodbeast for everything latest in Nintendo and Super Smash Bros. 4. That seems to be what my channel's been doing as of late. Continue watching the Smack Talk show here on the Smark Out Moment YouTube channel because we all love talking about wrestling for like 3 hours. So just keep watching so we can keep doing maybe not as long shows as this, but hey, it's WrestleMania, so let's all enjoy the good weekend. Right. Burhan.
www.nerdgenius.com. The Nerd Genius is my YouTube channel name, so make sure that you actually tune into that. Also, check out I Got Gameplay, the podcast that I also co-produce. Hopefully I can get Braden back on there as well. We miss you. And that's pretty much it for now, guys. Just stay tuned. Other projects are coming.
Chester?
You can just follow me on Twitter at @ThatJesterKid. I have other stuff going on soon too. Nothing going right now, but soon.
Hopefully some more Fanboys Anonymous articles from the Pokemon setup that we got going.
Yes.
And finally, Mike Payton.
I come from the Keeping Kayfabe podcast, where wrestling is still real to us.
Damn it.
Oh, that was so weak. That's okay. I understand it's late.
Yeah.
You can check us out at keepingkayfabe.com. From there, you can find ways to subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all those wonderful places. I do want to push on April 6th, the night before WrestleMania. Hopefully, you'll be listening to this part of the show before then, although who knows if you have that time in your schedule. But we will be doing a live call-in show on Blog Talk Radio at blogtalkradio.com/DreamElite. in partnership with Open Mic Wrestling Night. And there you can find my predictions as well as my partner, Brandon, who has regularly made appearances, well, not regularly, but a couple times made appearances here on Smack Talk. So certainly make a check out for that if you're looking for more WrestleMania talk. I make regular appearances on I Got Gameplay, on Fanboys Anonymous podcast. Also, I write on Fanboys Anonymous sometimes. And I'm here on Spark Out Moments sometimes too. If you want to find what's going on with me at WrestleMania, because I also will be attending, tweet me at MRPADEN. That's Mr. Payton on Twitter. I'll be tailgating. I'll have burgers, stuff. I'm going to be hanging out. I'm going to be partying. It's WrestleMania. It's my birthday, and I'm looking to have the greatest time of my life. So please, anybody, come along and party with me and talk about this crazy, nerdy thing that we like. Yeah, the DiBiase posse. DiBiase, you're welcome to come if you wish. I know you're listening.
Yeah, well, he certainly doesn't have anything else to do. All right, guys, that'll do us in for episode 74, the monumental monster kind of a edition that we have for WrestleMania. Thanks again for watching, everybody, listening, whatever you ended up doing. And thanks again for supporting the channel. As I mentioned before, the full screen partnership, big things coming from Smark Out Moments. So, all in all, we will see you next week, everybody, with the WrestleMania review and whatever ends up happening with the rest of the week. So check out the Internet Wrestling Community Outreach interviews that will be coming up in the middle of the week as much as I possibly can. And next week's episode, and keep on watching. This has been another Smark Out Moment. We're being counted out. See you next time, everybody.
It's going home, it's going home. Tell the world it's an outro. I'm too tired to sing this song, but I'm singing it's an outro. WrestleMania.
Something Miles.